Hello everybody, and welcome to a new Let's Play. This time I'm playing Warlock, Master of Arcane. It's a round-based strategy game and it plays in the world of Ardania. So Ardania may be familiar to some of you because Ardania is also the world of the Majesty games or Majesty games. I think it's Majesty. Majesty, the first game, was known as a fantasy kingdom simulator. To make it short, you played the sovereign, the leader of a kingdom, and you built buildings, recruited heroes instead of just normal units, and the heroes, every hero type had their own AI, their own specific things to follow. Rogues would go everywhere to steal, warriors would go around hunting monsters and just generally patrolling around, while the rangers would explore your whole map. And so on and so on. There had also been, for example, gnomes who would help you with building your, buildings, building your structures, and so on and so on. And Warlock plays after the second game. I never played the second game, I just played the first one. There was also a mobile game, there's also a mobile game, but it's not really worth mentioning. It wasn't my taste when I tried it. Anyway, I never played the second game, and like I said, Warlock plays after it. So the story of Warlock is this. The sovereign of Ardania went up north to explore and took some of their most trusted men along, but none of them came back. And there's a conclave of Great Mage or Archmages, how I call them, and they got a bit in an argument what to do, because there was no leader anymore, no heir, no nothing. Who should lead Ardania? And it came to a big civil war, which lasted for, I think, 20 years or something. So it's a long time. And the gods of Ardania said, enough is enough. Either you somehow decided something, you decided to a new sovereign, or we will end the war for you. So the Conclave of Mages decided, well, let's fair war against each other, and the one who conquers all will be the new ruler of Ardania. So yeah, this is a round-based strategy game, kinda like Masters of Magic, which I never played, I just heard from. You have your faction, and as you can imagine, the head of a faction is a Archmage or Great Mage. I think I will continue to refer them as Archmages. And yeah, it's about to win the game. So let's play. Oh, by the way, the game doesn't have really a does not have a campaign. You can just generate a world with different game conditions and choose the characters and such, and then play through it, which I will do. The videos will be half an hour long, so I can show some more things, because I think with round-based strategy games you should really take your time a little bit. So first of all is the difficulty. We can decide between 5 difficulties: relaxed, casual, normal, challenging, and impossible. As you can see, impossible is the hardest one, while relaxed is the easiest one. And sorry, I have to take a little sip of water. I hope you don't mind. And strategy games, especially round-based strategy games, are my second favorite genre. The first one are RPGs of all kinds. The third one are fighting games, just if you want to know that. And point and clicks are, I think, my fourth favorite. And so I will play on normal, since while I do like strategy games, I'm not a big strategist. So yeah, let's keep it normal. I think that's easy, but not too easy, so it should bring us to a challenging game. We have different victory types. First of all, I won't play on Armageddon mode. It is a mode with a special winning condition. We have to defeat Dramas, which are, I think, some kind of special faction. Never played Armageddon. So we will play on normal, a normal game. And we will keep all the victory types. We have the standard defeat all great mages, which means, yeah, destroy your rivals. Defeat an avatar. As you hit in the backstory, the gods of Ardania play a certain rule. And if you have a low enough reputation, one of the gods will hate you and want to destroy you. So that god will send an avatar at you, and if you defeat the avatar, you win the game. So yeah, you can piss off a god and defeat his avatar just to show what kind of, that you are the boss of all of them. Makes sense. Who wants to fight against a person who can defeat a godlike creature? Then there's cast the Unity spell. The Unity spell it's a very difficult spell, high level spell. You have to do a lot of research until you find it, and if you cast it, you will win the game. For a game about archmages, this makes the most sense, that you have something to do with a spell. And there's capture 50% of holy ground. Yeah, there are certain holy grounds. If you capture half of them, you also win the game. I keep all victory types, so I can be a little bit more flexible. I will probably go for this one, since this is probably the easiest one, but you never know. Maybe I will cast the Unity spell or capture the holy ground. We will see. And next is the world configuration, where we build our world, what it should look like. For example, first we will choose the world type. We can have a great land, which just one massive piece of land. We can have a supercontinent, which is one big continent with a little bit water here and there. We can have several continents and just some islands. I decided to go for several continents. The world size is large, so it makes a little bit interesting the game. It's big, but not too big. I was first thinking about normal, but it's too large. So next we choose our how many rival Great Mage we want to have. It depends on the map and on how big the world is. We can have 6 rival mages, as you can see, but I just want to have 3. So with us, there will be just 4 great mages, and I think that's really enough. In Ardania, where you start, you can find portals to different worlds. And since we have 4 mages, I say 4 worlds, so each one can conquer one if we find the portals. Although that's pretty hard, since portals are guarded by elementals. But we will see about that. Then we can decide if we want to have a flat world or a cylindrical world. A cylindrical world just means that if you go to the east, you come out of a west, so the world's not flat but kind of round. Again, sorry that I drink so much, but I really need it for my throat. It's my third attempt to record. There had been some problems. One of them was I forgot to turn my mic on after I was halfway done. Anyway, now we come to the fun, best part of the beginning, which is our Great Mage. There are, as you can see, several Great Mages you can choose from. Each one with certain perch and beginning spells, colors and races, and even biography. I will proceed by reading each and every biography just to introduce the possible rivals. But I won't go over all the perks. That would really take too long. How much time do we have? Oh yeah, it's more than enough. Anyway, first, MetalByakko the Head. I think he's kind of the mascot or the main hero, since he is, well, on the main menu. The head of a mage guild, MetalByakko's card, more often known as the Head, is famous for his unchallenged leadership of a council of great mages. That alone speaks highly of him, for such a post is envied by all, and only the most powerful and wisest of mages, a master of both magic and diplomacy, could keep such a position for any length of time. But MetalByakko seems so easily to get what he wants with such an elegant simplicity that other mages sometimes call him the Hit. From the overall description of everything by Master Alphus Bumblegate. Alphus Bumblegate. That is an interesting name. But yeah, I love those little things where they say that this and that comes from different books, descriptions and other documents in game. It's a neat little touch. Then we have another Banation. Nobody can precisely say precisely how long Anne Banation has walked the world, or even how long she has been the High Priestess of Agrela, the goddess of life. Yeah, Agrela is one of the goddesses, and in Majesty could build a temple for her, which we could recruit priestesses of Agrela. They would go around, yeah, they were actually called healers, and they would go around and heal your heroes and plant some special herbs so other heroes can make healing potions out of it. But all have heard of her numerous deeds of kindness and how she has helped people of Ardania through the trouble. They say she is blessed with the divine grace of life, and that a single touch of her hand is enough to restore sight to the blind, bring a paralyzed man to his feet, and even breathe life back to a death. Wow. A single word from her lips can bring a heavy harvest in a year of blight. Again, it's from the same guy. So yes, he's more specialized in healing mages. Yes, favor of Agrela, and oh well, I said I wouldn't go over the perks, but yeah, it's quite kind of interesting. Oh, that looks interesting. Nicholas Frost. Nicholas Frost is the high priest to the Temple of Cold. That wasn't in my SD1. Maybe it was introduced in the second game. And a man of generous nature, kind heart and cold mind. Under his leadership during the trouble of the Temple of Cold, the Temple of Cold gained a great popularity, which is no mean feat given that his temple enjoys the blessing of no gods. Perhaps because of this, Nicholas himself became the symbol of cold. Each year during midsummer holiday, he is seen in cities of Ardania dressed in his sheepskin coat and carrying a bag full of gifts. He gives children lollipops, ice cycles in the shapes of different animals, and makes summer skating rings and sledding runs. But don't think for a moment that such amusements are the extent of his powers, for he bears the title of Great Mage, and as many of his enemies know all too well, Nicholas Frost can freeze not only lollipops. So yeah, this is Santa Claus badass as a mage. Grand Librarian. Now, this is a person you should, well... Priest of Doros. Yeah, Priest of Doros was, Doros was, I think, the god of justice, but also knowledge, and, the monks were fighting barehanded. In Majesty 1 it also had a really nice feature, which was if you had a Temple of Doros and a warrior skill, you could recruit paladins who were very powerful. Priests of Doros see knowledge as power, and because of such power doubles in force when striking from concealment. They are in the habit of hiding it well. In the very name of the Grand Librarian, the High Priest of Doros, god of order, knowledge, is scarcely heard whispered in the darkest corridors of Ardania. More widely known as the Grand Librarian, more widely known is that the Grand Librarian never hesitates to demonstrate his magical strength, and never denies his wish to establish a new order in Ardania. The order he expects shall be founded on the principle of greater good, knowing your place, and unquestionable subjugation to a higher mind. That doesn't sound that friendly. Yeah, Doros monks barely speak anything, barely say anything. Next we have El Priestess the Eternal. First a little zip. Every time many was disappointed that the death of El Priester, the Eternal, former head of the Mages Guild, didn't simply put an end to the matter. His enemies hurried to proclaim him a heretic, while the living lamented that he didn't die as he should, and the undead complained that he didn't become a lich as he should. But such threat proclamations were confined in the backroom talks and rare carefully written criticism in the newspaper of the time. For El Priester, who while alive had become one of the great mages of Ardania, had become even more powerful after his death, and could now quite easily lay claim to the title of the greatest. Interesting, so an undead. Empress. After suppression of a conclusory rebellion against the Great King, many rebellious priests were exiled from a kingdom. I don't know if it has anything to do with the second game. But many of them later returned upon hearing the disappearance of the king. The former High Priestess of Crypta, Sister Sena Sacrifius, foremost among them. Upon her return, she won back her title in a short but brutal duel, took upon herself the name of the Empress, and began to pursue a new policy which she called sacrificial cleansing. Soon enough, the rule of such a determined High Priestess would give fruit, and the Temple of Crypta returned to its former grim, greatest and terrifying frame. The interesting thing is, she has the undead as her race, but Crypta was actually against necromancy in the first game. The priestesses were able to summon skeletons, but those skeletons were actually a copy of their own skeletons, so they didn't really raise the undead. They were, I think, it was also said in the first game that they actively fight against them. So while Crypta was a grim goddess, she wasn't really evil. But it seems they kinda changed it here, or maybe it's just the Empress who is kinda, yeah, not so nice. Oh, that's a nice looking fellow. King Lich the Fifth. Many assume the number 5 after the name of the king means there would be 4 other Lich Kings before him, but that is something of a misconception, for there has been only one King Lich, and the number instead represents how many times he has been resurrected. So he was already killed 4 times. It is in the part sort of warning to his enemies, a reminder that revenge of the undead king can never be entirely avoided. And if one considers the King Lich has unparalleled skill in magic, it becomes rather obvious that why he has so few enemies. Oh, cool. He's pretty cool, I think. The next one is Rak. No, I don't want to change the name. Yeah, you could theoretically change the name of the Archmages here if you want to play them, but give them under a different name. But we'll go to that later. No one can claim to know much about this Great Mage. None knows who he is, none has ever seen his face, and no one claims to know from whence he comes. And no one can claim to know the limits of his power, but there are quite few rumors and speculations about him. Someone has heard that he is the former advisor of the Great King, or that he is even the missing Great King himself, or that he is the avatar of Lunod, the very embodiment of the spirit of the Lunod's magic. Yeah, Lunod is the moon god. But the only things that can be set up with certainty are that his name is Rax, and he is the chosen mage of Lunod, the god of night. Yeah, Lunod's priests and Majesty were known for their speed, not very good at fighting, and were pretty quick and running away. They could also teleport, which added even more to their speed. They were the fastest characters you could find. And they also fought with a simple staff. King Red V, I don't know how to spell that, and I won't try. King Red had gained his place in the Council of the Great, following his father King Red V, slightly different number. What does Elni mean? Who had in turn inherited the title after the King Red XL, and so on. Back to the first Great Mage, King Red V. I think that's 20th. Yeah, X was 10, and so XX should be 20, I think. Like all of his famous ancestors before him, King Red would most often come to the council meetings accompanied by a great and pompous troop of his brothers, cousins and nephews. This was, as he would say, to prepare a worthy eye and provide him with proper knowledge of diplomatic etiquette. And like all his ancestors before him, King Red liked to finish each of his council speeches with the phrase, "Ardania will be mine, 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 mine." Oh, he's very ambitious. And as you can see, he really puts a lot of emphasis on goals. Next we have Sol de Torvega. Sol de Torvega is the son of Basilio de Torvega, the infamous mage who has challenged the High King and Lunod himself, in hopes of gaining the power of the God of Night, that he might rule over all of Ardania. He failed in this, and he, along with all of the Torvega clan, were cast out of the kingdom, and their name were cursed by Lunod. But Sol de Torvega had no wish to die an unknown outlander lord, and so he offered Silver Soul Helia, Lunod's greatest foe, and she accepted his proposal. Sol de Torvega has since become the High Priest of Helia, and now he and his fellow werewolves are among the most trusted and most dangerous servants of the gods of the sun. Yeah, Helia was also one of the gods you could build a temple for, and her priestesses were super strong and very eager to fight. They could also build, if I remember right, turrets where they fire fireballs on enemies. And yes, Ashar the wisest. The Great King signed the edict granting monsters rightful citizenships in the kingdom of Ardania, Asher revises the first shaman of Gramgok availed himself to his new opportunities, and quickly became a member of the Conclave of High Priests, and at the same time a member of the Council of Mages. Oh. During the Trouble, he improved his position by becoming the first to proclaim himself a Great Mage of Ardania, and refused to bow to either the King's deputy or to the Conclave. So he started the Trouble. By the way, the so-called The Trouble, I don't know what it's about, because I think that was in the second game. His envious enemies call him a traitor, but even they must concede that Ashar would not have achieved these things had he not only been the wisest, but also one of the strongest of the mages. I don't know about Gramgok because he wasn't in the first game. Chandral, son of Vendral. Oh, there's a name. In the 15th summer of the Troubles, the Northern Foothills trembled with a mighty roar. Those Tendril, son of the legendary destroyer of Ardania, the two-headed dragon Vendral first announced his appearance. Tendril was quick to conquer all northern domains of the former Great Kingdom. Almost immediately thereafter, he was invited to join the ranks of the Great Mages, given a vote on the Great Council. But it seems that Tendril was not satisfied with his honor, for it is now clear that he covets only one title, Ruler of Ardania. Oh yeah, Vendral, I remember him. I think that was the dragon in the first game. He was also double-headed, and you had to fight him in one map. It was a very hard map. One of the hardest in the whole game. Malina Xochi, Wizard Queen of Coatls, is highly prized for her cruelty and her power over her reptile kin. Some even believe her to be a goddess, although this point of view is fiercely debated by the Conclave of High Priests. The most outspoken have even demanded a vote to banish all Coatls from Ardania, but as the Coatls and the Queen are still there, the measure can be considered a failure, and the power of Malina Xochi herself was in no small part responsible for this. That's a very hard name. Very hard name. Emberon the Dark, Grandmaster of the Order of Aref, and the Grandmaster of the Order of Aref can be described as highly intelligent, skillful, cold, ruthless, and cunning mage who has devoted his life to bringing the high truth to all inhabitants of Ardania. Although he has never been officially accepted as a member of the Council of Great Mages, no one dares to remind Emberon of his facts. Whoa. So he's really powerful and all. He's also the only one who has the Aresi Elves as a starting faction. Starting folk. Starting race, yeah. That was it. Yeah, that's even the word race. Yeah, he's the only one who has the Aresi Elves as starting race. Dragon Queen. The appearance of Aresi Elves in Ardania did not pass unnoticed by the elven females, who were very disappointed by the fact that the head of the Order of Ares became a member of the Great Council almost immediately. Whereas elven females have lived in Ardania for almost 600 years. Shouldn't it be 600 years? 600 years. And still awaited an invitation. Unwilling to endure such discrimination, the Dragon Queen, the most powerful mage among elves, simply demanded a place in the council. The male Great Mage harbored some doubts at first, but they were swayed by the active support of Anna Benetton, the Empress, and too hard to pronounce name, along with the fact that the candidate appeared to be not only a skillful mage but also an excellent archer, also able to pluck a single stray hair from a beard with a carefully placed arrow, and immediately half it in two by the second arrow, demonstrates such as this inspired the males on the council to reconsider and you can scroll down, approve the application. Time is up. The introduction video is a little bit longer than I imagined, but I will go with it. Sorry, I had to turn the mic off because I was sneezing. So yeah, we will make a little bit longer. We are nearly through the introduction and we won't end until we will create our own mage. Yeah, I will do a customized mage. But with, yes, the last one, Krell the Kingpin. It's not easy to be a barbarian chief if all they respect is the strength of youth, and it's no easier to be chosen priest of Krolm for the god of strength. For the god of strength tests all weakness, and it's nearly impossible to achieve these titles if you are an old mage, as neither the barbarians nor Krolm himself suffer mages gladly. Yeah, Krolm was the first god, and he's also the father of all other gods. And the interesting thing about him is when you build a temple for him in the first game, you don't get any priestess or something, or a priest. You get just barbarians. That is why it is better when speaking with this great grey-haired old man, to remind yourself that he became a member of the Great Council not by giving lollipops to children or by birthright, but because of his immense power and experience. So, those were all the mages. But instead of choosing one of them, like I said, we will customize our own. First off, as you can see here, race, a lot of them have humans as their starting race. Not all of them, but many. So I will not choose the humans either. I take this one and customize him. First of all, I reset all of this. I want his portrait, this is why I choose him. And as a starting race, I take the Arcane elves, because barely anyone else has them. I will choose the faction color later. I reset all of my perks and spells and have 10 points, which I can spend in perks and points, perks and spells. Since the introduction is already so long, I won't go further and explain everything. Just the perks I really want to choose. First of all, there's the Conjurer perk, which allows me to produce more mana. Then I want to have the Farmer perk, so I can produce more food. Both are very important resources. I could now put the left points, the points I have left, into treasury or mana vault or even this, but I don't want to do it. I want some spells. I could either take this, clean the lands, or ice ring, but as you can see here, they cost how many points they cost. And I think I will take quantity over quality and take all the spells necessary. I deem necessary for the beginning, which is Lesser Fireball, an attack spell. I could also use Lesser Shadow Ball, which deals death magic, but it could be that I find some undead at the beginning and they are immune to death magic. So yeah, Fireball it is. Also, it's a dragon. Then lesser weakness as a debuff and healing, lesser heal. And color, what color do I want to have? That's a hard decision. Purple. It's a royal color. And we are not Tendril, son of Vendril. We are instead Fafnir, Earthburner. Fafnir Earthburner is was created by a mage by accident. It was accidentally created by a mage. He actually was just a newt. Fafnir, not the mage. And his creator did some experiments which mutated the little newts into a mighty magical twin-headed dragon. And Fafnir decided, you know what, I have enough of you. Burned his former master down instead of serving him, and took some of his knowledge. Sadly not everything, because he burned everything down, the whole bibliothèque, the whole library, all books, all everything. So but he was able to learn 3 basic spells which he deemed very important. He also knew enough about mana to use that knowledge to produce more, and he also learned a little bit about agriculture since he likes to eat. That's the whole reason. Fafnir was the name his master gave him, or his creator, and Earthburner was the name Fafnir gave to himself. Why? Because it sounds cool. That's the whole reason. Since the Arathi Elf don't have many leaders on their side, Fafnir decided to make an alliance with them. So his goal for now is to conquer all of Ardania and rule it just because he can, and to show that he isn't just a mere experiment anymore. He's his own thing. So let's start the game. During the game you can improve the abilities of your Great Mage, which shortens the time it takes to cast spells. That's good.
Your Excellency, someone has humbly requested your aid.
We will go after this later. First of all, let's save. And it will be LP1 1. Yeah. So the introduction was long enough. So I will end the video here, and next time we will do a proper introduction to the game and do a little bit of gameplay. I also want to try to spin a story about it, because I want to do some fun stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little introduction, even if it was a lot of reading. And goodbye and have a nice day.